Hey everybody, this is TJR, and I just finished watching the trailer for Dune. Yes, I know, I am late to the party. The trailer came out a couple of days ago, and in internet time, that's decades. But I'd still like to weigh in and just give my thoughts. You know, just like The Lord of the Rings and The Watchmen, Dune has been one of those books that is considered to be unadaptable for the big screen.
Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Yes.
I have seen the 1984 David Lynch directed version a number of times. Not because I necessarily like it, I don't think it's a very good movie, but it is a curiosity for me because it was directed by David Lynch and I am a huge admirer of his work. But I also understand that even Lynch didn't like the film, so much so that he had his name removed from the credits. In fact, his name was removed from the credits back when I saw it in the theaters, back in 1984. David Lynch directed a 3-hour movie, and the studio released a 2-hour movie and then added scenes that helped to simplify the film and tons of narration. The film is a mess, but it is an interesting mess, at least for me. I also saw the TV miniseries that came out back in 2000. It was basically a movie chopped into 3 episodes. And I haven't seen that since it first aired on the Sci-Fi Channel, but I remember enjoying it. And I also remember, of course, that unlike the previous film, the plot was comprehensible. Now, looking at this new trailer, I'm actually intrigued by how reminiscent the costuming in this new version is to the 1984 film. I want to state here, I'm not implying that this film is copying the 1984 film, but I'm guessing that both films were going for an aesthetic that they felt would be faithful to the visual look of the source material that they're adapting.
I can see it. I must not fear.
Now, I talk a lot about music on this channel, and when I discussed the trailer for The Batman the other week, I regrettably failed to mention the use of Something in the Way by Nirvana in that trailer and how perfectly that music worked in that trailer.
Underneath the bridge,
Who?
sprung a leak,
Now, the Batman trailer, that one captivated me from start to finish. But the trailer for Dune, I hate to say it, it does nothing to captivate me. Or at least it did nothing until I heard the use of Eclipse by Pink Floyd. Up until that moment, this trailer had absolutely no life, but it all came to life when I began to hear that music. And can you blame me? I mean, it's some of the greatest music that's ever been recorded. Now, perhaps it's just my own lack of experience with the source material, but as much as I enjoyed hearing this Hans Zimmer version of Eclipse, I am not sure what that song's lyrical content has to do with this particular story. And yes, I am aware of the fact that there is an image of an eclipse in the poster for this film. However, aside from that, I don't know what the connection is, but I will admit that musically it went very well with the images used in this trailer. But then again, I think a lot of different images would go well with this music. But perhaps that will all become much clearer when I see director Denis Villeneuve's version of this novel. I should add, though, that filmmaker Alejandro, and hopefully I said this right, Jodorowsky sought to use Pink Floyd's music in his own adaptation of Dune. And yet, I have to also add that regardless of my comments on this trailer, there's no way I'm not going to see this film. I'm going to see this version of Dune. Trailers are not the movie. I have been fooled by trailers in the past. Trailers have raised my expectations only to receive disappointment, and trailers have also lowered them only to be pleasantly surprised. One thing I do have to also add, there is a very bleak tone to this film. I mean, there was a bleak tone to the 1984 film. There was a bleak tone to the 2000 TV miniseries. And I have to say, I am impressed that Warner Brothers is willing to put the kind of money that you can see, obviously, just from looking at this trailer, that they're willing to put the kind of money that they're putting into this, into a film that appears this bleak. And for that reason, lacks a certain amount of, how shall I say, commercial viability. And having said that, I should state that commercial viability doesn't always equal artistic success. Now, earlier I mentioned this particular property has been considered unadaptable for the big screen. And yet, Peter Jackson managed to pull it off with Lord of the Rings, and Zack Snyder, while I have many misgivings about his take on DC comic book superheroes, pulled it off with Watchmen. Got to give him props for that. And if I understand correctly, this adaptation of Dune is supposed to be 2 movies. I hope this is true. I understand this first movie is just the first half of the book. And what I'm wondering is, like with Lord of the Rings, where it was already planned out ahead of time, we're making 3 movies. We're shooting them simultaneously. Are they shooting 2 movies simultaneously? Or is this going to be like the animated 1970s adaptation of Lord of the Rings, where they filmed the first half and then they never filmed the second half because the first half bombed so badly? I really am hoping that they have been working on these 2 films simultaneously, because I think what would be really disappointing is if this film ends at some halfway point and then we never get the rest. Or at the very least, they found a way to give us a satisfying conclusion to the first half of the book, and then they can give us the rest, hopefully, in the future. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. As always, if you like what I'm doing, be sure to click a like, click subscribe, and smash that bell notification icon. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.